So thank you so much, colleagues, for a wonderful 2 days. Our job is to talk a little about next steps, and so I think first of all, we really want to say thank you very much to Sinead, to Stay, to Joanne, to Anne, and the rest of the committee for bringing us all here today. It was a huge amount of effort, Sinead, and we really appreciate it. Thank you so much for all that hard work. So I think the issue of funding is going to become a critical point going forward, and I think some of these 2 days have kind of demonstrated that. So as other people have mentioned, Leila has mentioned it, we are here today because we're able to get funding from Boston University to fund particularly young people that presented, or the early career researchers that presented this afternoon. And so we are really grateful to you, Dave Henderson, for sourcing that funding for us. And we really I'd also like to say thank you to our colleagues from East Africa for bringing young students. To West Africans for bringing registrars with you. And to the South Africans for bringing registrars with you, the students from South Africa. We really do need to expose our registrars, our residents, to this kind of work and this kind of setting. I can just imagine how powerful it must be for a resident to be able to spend 2 days with, Dave Henderson, Leila, Asmal, Jimmy Vorming, Dr. Jordan, and actually speak to them and tea time and just impress them. I'm pretty sure there'll be quite a few addiction psychiatrists coming out of this group. Everyone's been talking about your energy levels. So, so the next steps, I think we're at a juncture where we probably could have been a couple of years ago because of COVID, but I think we're finally at that juncture where the organization really needs to formalize itself and become a registered entity. And so we've had a number of discussions about what that format would look like. And it is a little bit tricky because there's not that many examples that are doing this kind of work, which is across the Atlantic with different universities, different people that have got different institutions. So there's a number of options that we've looked at, and Sinead did a lot of work looking at consortia of universities, stuff around global health. There's also potential sort of thinking about AGMHI as a not-for-profit company. But the tricky bits are really around what that looks like in terms of registrations on the continent and also in the United States. We are very clear that we want to have presence here on the continent and also in the United States because we want to be able to leverage funding from here and also from the United States. So we are trying to do that. I think the issue of funding is also critical because we can't do that without Sinead and Stay and Joanne, because we have to have these meetings, we have to prepare for them, and we need to meet with different people to advise us. So I think we are looking to the leadership of AGMHI to help us knock on the correct doors of the people that will be able to give us the kind of money that we're looking for. It is not the traditional NIH research grant type of money that we're looking for. We're looking for money from foundations, from perhaps pharma, and so and it's also a little bit of a tricky one because if you go to a funder, it's quite difficult to ask for money for an organization for its staff. They usually say, "Oh, what are you doing? Oh, you're doing some clinical some outreach to Africa. Fantastic. We can maybe look at funding that project." But it's quite tricky to get sort of funding for the staff that we really need to help us run these working groups, to help us prepare for these conferences, to help us get all of these things out. So it's it really is going to be a tall ask for us to try and find that money. There's a president elect of African Association of Psychiatrists in this room who claims to have be very close to some farmer leaders. So we're looking to you to help us do that. I think there are some wonderful things that have been said today and yesterday, and I think Jimmy left us with a couple of wonderful suggestions about how do we measure success of AGMHI, and so I think those are things that we have to take home and think about how we do that. But the last thing I want to say before I hand over to Dave for me is that I think we should stop and acknowledge that in this room today we have, and yesterday I think, we have about 50 people from Uganda, from Ethiopia, from Liberia, from South Africa, from Nigeria, from Australia, from Ghana, from the United States, and it's a wonderful group of people that we really don't ever get to spend that much time with as much as we should, and we really appreciate it. So thank you very much to everyone here that made the journey and to come here, and we appreciate all the activities and chats and conversations that we've had over the last 2 days. Over to you.
I'll be brief because I understand there are cocktails soon to be available. So this has been a wonderful couple of days. I think that Bonga and I were commenting yesterday that, we probably need more time at the next meeting. Like, it's really, in order to allow for more discussion and opportunity, but such a wonderful group, and I can really think back that, this all started because of Chester Pierce, and if he were here today, he would be extremely proud of what is happening, and the fact that we are actually on the verge of taking those steps, coming out of this meeting, like with the different work groups, targeting opportunities to apply for grants. We will do this. This will happen. We will get the support needed to make sure those grants go out. And so, that's like the next critical step, for us as we continue to move forward with numerous agendas. And from what I understand, we will be hosting a meeting again next year, but it may be in Durham. Is that a possibility? Yes, Durham. And then I understand in 2 years from now we have an invitation for Kenya.
Yes.
Beach side, right?
Absolutely.
So I'm definitely booking my ticket for that one. So again, please take the time, network, meet people. I think that, as we pointed out, we have young people and more experienced people, say. But everybody here is approachable, and we're all learning from each other. So please just connect with people. You'd be surprised, like I pointed out this morning with, and really a half-hour meeting with Layla in Boston turned into, 14 years of collaborating and working together and so on. So I would encourage everyone to take advantage of this. And so, again, thank you all. This has been fantastic. It's been all recorded, so we will go on the website, so you can go back and relive the memories. But also use this as a reference point to go back and so I thought I heard somebody mention this. Let me see if I can find that and so on. And so that's it for me. Michelle has one more announcement. So anyway, thank you very much for coming.
I'll keep it brief. I also wanted to say thank you to everybody. It's always a pleasure to be here with all of you. I wanted to make an announcement about taking a group picture. We've done that every year, and you saw some of the great pictures and some of the slideshows over the last 2 days. So we may just go outside of the room to do that. So please, everybody, let's do that before we cross over to Century City. And the other thing, since Dave, it came to my mind since he mentioned Chester Pierce, and not to forget why we're here, who really wanted us all to unite across the diaspora, that we do have, through the American Psychiatric Association, an award in his honor. That was funded by private donations through the APA, so people can still donate if they like to that. But in general, you can also nominate people, and that's why maybe we can send the link out. So annually, there's someone selected. We haven't gotten a lot of applications because it's pretty new in the last couple of years to have an award in his honor. And to fund it, so it's up to $5,000, and you get to travel to the US for the AP annual meeting, and there's a lecture dedicated in his honor. But from his core beliefs, so we're looking for people that have that humanitarian mission and his vision of what we're all doing and what you've heard over the last 2 days. And so I just, we can send probably that link too. I'm looking to tonight when we send any sort of things after the conference, that we'll send the link, and it's a person's CV, letters of recommendation, but then the committee will review it, and I'm leading that committee. So I would love to see, more nominations from the continent and the diaspora, because we just haven't had that many, and it would be really great if we can have more people selected from the continent. And last but not least, I'm going to give another shout out to Senite, because this really is not possible without her. And someone already said, I think Dave said it's more than just admin, because Senite, in her own right, is a master's level trained epidemiologist, I'll say. And so she's our global program director, and this is not the only thing she leads in her department, the T32 fellowship and a couple other initiatives, and her attention to detail is unparalleled. And so I just want to, none of us could do any of this without sort of her leadership and making sure we did what we needed to do in a timely manner. And so with that, thank you all, and don't forget about the picture before we go for drinks.